Hi, I'm Yasmeen Owusu, and this is my producer, Charlie Kesenek.
I'm your husband, and you're using all my stuff right now. What are you talking about?
So anyway, I've been looking for a one-stop shop podcast for wellness, amateur sociology, psychology, pop culture, and whatever else sparks my interest. So I created one. We are limited to no lanes. We hit the gas and get into it. This is Peaked. Press play. Hi, Charlie.
Hello.
Oh. Oh, damn. Okay, Barry
strong.
White.
Hello,
Nice
ladies.
case. My modus operandi.
How
you doing?
Cool. It was cool before he became a Scientologist.
Yeah. It's been a while, though.
It's been a while. That was a
Yeah.
long time ago. Now he's become a deceased person.
Yeah, he is
So-
past. I mean, maybe he's on, what is it? With the Thetans somewhere? No, the Thetans are the
Somewhere.
bad ones.
If you're
Xenu?
really, he's with Xenu.
Yeah.
Go with Xenu.
He's with Xenu now.
Go with Xenu. I like this. Okay.
Remember South Park had like an episode
yeah.
about him going Scientologist and
Oh,
stuff?
yeah. Yeah, that was rough.
Our friend Chef. Anyway,
Anyway,
how you doing?
I'm doing
I
great.
spent the day with you. You seemed fine. I was there.
It was before Scientology.
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a while.
been
I'm
in,
back,
like-
back on the pod. Happy to be here. You've been
Yes.
fully focused on some important
Summerhouse
matters. Some
reunion.
important matters.
Listen, it is important.
It is.
It's important that
Actually,
we
it is.
identify, squirrely, chip on the shoulder, narcissistic, potentially Midwestern, move to, not that everyone Midwestern, I'm just saying a lot of Midwestern people who move to New York City can have this chip on their shoulder kind of vibe. Like Wes Wilson from
Where you
Summerhouse.
from? Where you from? I've been here for 15 years.
Yeah, a small town I've been here for. Those people who don't want to tell you where they're from.
Exactly. Knicks fans,
But we're not going to get into Summerhouse again. I think the 2 episodes was enough. I saw the third, and I don't think there was enough there to really do a whole thing. Let's just say it reiterated a lot of what we already felt.
You've covered a lot of ground.
We've covered it, yeah. We've done it. I want to put it in the ground, but of course they're like, bonus episode next week. They're really trying to
Yeah.
freaking stretch this thing. I feel like
It's crazy.
the whole show was maybe on the cusp of needing to be completely recast or canceled, and this is giving it a shot of blood. But
For sure.
if we learned anything from Scandival, it might just be the kiss of death
Yeah.
anyway,
For real.
with fractured groups like this. Anyway, here I go talking about it for an hour. Charlie, what is on your mind? What is on your nerves?
The Summerhouse reunion. No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Honestly, though, I kind of brought
Fair.
up a bit of a thought about, that guy, Wes Wilson, was the big. I mean, I guess a lot of people talked about Amanda Battuglia, but
For those of you who don't know and haven't listened to these 2 episodes, we're just talking about a Bravo show called Summerhouse, which it's a reality show, but I think the characters on it have kind of revealed a lot of pathology that I found really interesting.
exactly. And
Yeah.
some of the pathology, I watched it with you and
Mhm.
enjoyed the nonsense and the interestingness of it all.
Mhm.
And yeah, one of the characters on there is this guy, West, who's kind of the subject of the controversy that has recently taken the headlines a bit. And this guy had no personality
No
coming into the
charisma.
show. He came on the show, started on the show, 3 years ago or something?
Yeah.
This is his third season.
Third season, yeah.
This guy had absolutely no real personality.
None.
It was a very it's like he speaks like bro speak, he speaks one language very specifically, and it's like bro speak. It's like, what's up, bro?
And it's awkward, bro.
Very awkward, bro. It's
like-
oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I didn't know you were there. It's like,
He makes little phrases where he'd be like, pass me the Cokie, or I don't know. He makes up things that no one says, and not in a good way.
Right.
It's almost like
yes.
he fumbles his words and he's trying to be too bro and too cool, where sometimes he says a thing where we're like, that's definitely not a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And to be clear, I don't really have a problem with bro-y people at large.
You're from Boston.
I'm from Boston. I wouldn't have made any friends. And there's I like all kinds of people. But to me, you have to
I
be
do not.
Okay, I like most kinds of people.
I do not.
She just I moved this way too close to my face. And
Just talking about the microphone.
the microphone.
Here.
Yeah, sorry, audio people. But you have to have a personality. This is a really important thing.
It used to be a prerequisite for
it used
life.
to be a prerequisite. I think we look at people who Like this guy doesn't even smile ever. If you watch the show, like there's like zero smiles unless he's like hammered. So it's like I feel like we need to bring back like the importance of having a personality. We need to like and not only that, we need to recognize that like it's kind of a red flag if a person doesn't have a personality. Because a lot of the narrative was like, "Oh, you're fake." Like you like about this guy West. Like you say you act like you're one person, but you say you're one person and you're a totally different person when it really comes down to it. And I mean, it's like I don't know. I think you like maybe because this guy was kind of a blank slate, the people in question were kind of projecting
1000%.
some personality that they wanted him to have on him because he didn't have a personality.
His personality must have been the friends he met along the way. His charisma. I mean, I've heard speak. You know, we've heard the lore, we've heard tell. I've never seen it in person. I mean, it's a mystical being as far as I'm concerned. Everyone's like, "Oh, how do you get these women? You use your charisma." And I'm like, his what?
Didn't make it on camera.
This man, he's like a living half burp.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even have the conviction to fully burp. Everything is just like, like he's just a half burp.
Yeah.
He's a silent fart. Like, even his badness doesn't have the conviction to like go for it, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's just a freaking blob. He feels boneless to me. You know how some people say spineless? It's like more than that. He's like boneless.
He's a blob. He physically resembles blob-like
Invertebrate.
material. Yeah. So anyway, I guess that's it. I'll keep it brief. I think if you encounter a person who doesn't have much of a personality, be very careful. Don't project anything onto that because it is easy to project onto a blank slate. And be wary because if you don't have a personality, that's kind of antisocial and there may be something lurking beneath. And they may be, I think you brought something up, I think, which is that he's kind of just mirroring people. He's looking around and trying to find like, how can I kind of slither in here? How can I mirror you? How can I just like give back what you're giving me in such a way that it can make you feel safe so that I can then do whatever I want around you or, you know, to you. Yeah.
He doesn't have charisma. He doesn't have charm like people think he does. He has an ability to see what people lack and fill that space with whatever he thinks they need to fill it with. So when people are like, "Oh, I like being around him," they think that means he's fun to be around. But really, he's just like you said. He's feeding you back. Like it's not you don't like him, you like you.
Yeah.
Like you're getting your own mirror. You're getting like a feedback loop of like what you're projecting that you want and what you feel inside. He's just mirroring it. But I would even piggyback more what you said. Like you're like, I want to keep this short. I don't.
Let's go.
It's called Peaks. We get into it. But I think so. When you said we need to bring back personalities, people need to have personalities. Personalities are an inherent thing if you're being authentic.
Absolutely.
And I think when you see someone as not having a personality, there's repression involved. There's trying to do something else and be something else so much that it's creating this almost void and vacuum.
Absolutely.
And that's what feels like no personality. Or to some people who have these wounds or whatever, it's a good like what's it called? A screen to project themselves on.
Right. Whatever they want.
But you shouldn't really have to, I mean, we'd maybe have to work on social skills and that, but like your personality is a natural kind of amalgamation of like your interests and how you're raised and like what you're steeped in. And then also what you take in it. Yeah, I already said interest. So it's all that stuff. So that should just inherently exist. Like you shouldn't be like sitting there with a notebook. Like I feel like the most insufferable, scary people in the world are constantly thinking about how they could have a more interesting personality. I mean, that's like your claviculars or whatever who are like, let's, you know, funny max, let's this. I don't think that's how it really works.
Funny maxing.
I think it's good to take notes on what's not going over.
Yeah.
Like if you do something and it's consistently making people uncomfortable and consistently antisocial, or like when I was a kid, in my case, it's like, there's too much silence sometimes. And like, you learn to be more cooperative and work with people. And, you know, if you're someone who has a hard time with eye contact and people don't like that, it's like, you can take notes on those things, but I don't think it's to a point where you start to like cultivate weird niche interests just to have a personality. Cause that's always really transparent and really uncomfortable to be around.
Yeah. Socialization involves like, I mean, I think most people are probably pretty weird when they're little kids and they're like kind of learn to try to hide that a little bit as they enter social circles.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to I don't know, like re-emerge into your weird self in a way that is more integratable into
Yes.
society, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And like that's like the process of individuation and like becoming a real person in the world. And like, I don't know, yeah, we're not so good at that these days.
That's a good way to put it, because I do feel like as you get older and as you get more I don't know, dexterity with knowing how much or little is palatable for people of like your certain traits,
Right.
you can be a little bit more weird because you know when to do it, when not to. You understand kind of like social appropriateness and all that.
Yeah.
But like when you're little and you're just kind of like, you know, just being your whatever weird self and it's not going over, it's like you for a while kind of retreat, right?
Yeah.
And then I think you just learn to like dole it out at the right times, and then it lets you
Right.
let your freak flag fly in the right circumstance at times.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
It's like it to not ever do that. Yeah. And to be the way this guy is, very con man, very used cars salesman.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I think when you're constantly trying to tell people what they want to hear, people love to use this love bombing. And we had that conversation about the love bombing thing. And I understand it's a very real thing that narcissistic personalities and manipulative people do. But I think it's important to take certain amount of responsibility for seeing things that aren't there or don't feel right.
Right.
And I do think when someone's like, oh, this person told me he loved me in the first week and he tried to move in, I'm like, well, those are problems.
Seems
and I think if
crazy.
you just saw that as love, that's not what love looks like.
Right.
And so I think some personal responsibility with like recognizing when there's an over inflated sudden clinginess or a sudden outpouring of affection that doesn't make sense with how long a person's known you.
Yeah.
Let's not call that love anything.
Right.
You know,
Totally.
you should see that as a red flag.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's a little bit on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you
going to ask me?
So what's on your mind or your nerves?
Girl, you know it's on my nerves. It's the Knicks. The Knicks are on my nerves, and it's more complicated than just being sort of a semi-fake Bostonian who's really from Africa and also nowhere. But
and everywhere.
It's really more. It's the whole thing around people's relationship to like their teams as like transplants and all of that. Like, let me explain.
Let's go.
There are a lot of people that I know or peripherally know, right, who maybe have some other affiliation, who live in New York City because we used to live there, right? So I know them from living in New York City, but they're not from there, right? So they have somewhere else they're from. And there have been a lot of people that I saw during this whole like playoff, like Knicks versus San Antonio or whatever, and not just with San Antonio, when there are other teams that were in, playing this like long game of like selling their, let's say it's like someone from Texas or someone from San Antonio, selling their Texanness and being like, yeah, like, and then also being like, but I've lived in New York forever. And they're like playing that long game of like, whoever wins, I get to center myself in it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not how fandom works. No. And I understand like we were rooting for San Antonio because, we're not going to root for the fucking Knicks. We're from Massachusetts. And, Celtics were out. So we're like, we live in Texas. Let's like, at least we can get into energy of people in, our state. But we're not just going to be like, yeah, I like if I was living in New York City and I'm a Celtics fan, I'm not going to like be playing this long game if it's Celtics versus Knicks. I'm from Massachusetts and they're playing the Knicks, like laying the groundwork that if you see me at a Knicks parade, this is why. Like, I don't like that vibe. It's annoying. It just feels like attention seeky to me.
I mean, yeah. As a Boston sports fan, it is unimaginable.
Knicks never.
Well, obviously, New York teams. Take New York teams out of it even. Yeah. It is unimaginable to me to be like 1 foot in Celtics, 1 foot in. If it had been Celtics Spurs, 1 foot in Celtics, 1 foot in Spurs. Are you kidding me?
Are you on crack?
That would never happen. Not for a half of a second. It hadn't even occurred to me to root for the Spurs until the moment the Celtics were out. And the Celtics also, and the Spurs were also playing a team that I didn't like in the OKC Thunder. Like, I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I mean, our friends like the Spurs. Let's go.
There's more people in town here that we can go to their house and they'll be happy. But like, also for reference, we did not watch the last 2 games. That's how invested we are. We're not all of a sudden like as people who are like from Boston gonna like, be like super rah 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 and do the chants and stuff and like get a tattoo. Like, relax. It's annoying.
And by the way, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And by the way, like I I made it public. No, not public. I didn't post anything about it. I just like talked to a few people about it. It's like, yeah, I'm rooting for the Spurs. Oh my God. The Knicks fans calling me, texting me when the Spurs lost. Ha ha, trying to talk shit to me like, your team sucks. Oh, your team didn't.
who?
I'm like, what are you talking? Like,
babe.
That was
No.
like,
This could have been anybody. This could have been anybody.
that was the stray dog that I was trying to get to the pound. Like, I'm calling fucking animal rescue right now. Like, I want this thing out of my house. I don't care. It's just here. Like, I'm trying to take care of it. I just not. No, it is not.
I don't have a Wemby like tramp stamp. Like, chill out. Like, we're not that into it. Like, it's just the way when you live anywhere, it's like you just get into the vibe of it. And like, honestly, it's not for me. But if you decide that you don't feel a whole lot of a kinship with your state and you move to a place you feel more like, this is my vibe, these are my people. Like, if you moved from like San Antonio and you permanently moved to like New York and you just feel like that's more your shit and you just want to be into the freaking, Jets, whatever you're doing, fine. Don't try the double dip. I don't like it. I don't like the double dip. Don't try to be like, if either one wins, I get to center myself in it. And like, it's the center yourself in it thing.
Yeah.
It's okay if you're in New York City and you're feeling the vibe of the Knicks winning and you're just like, yeah, like but just do it as an outsider.
Yeah.
Or like, if you just completely wanted to like relinquish your San Antonio-ness, then be like, it's nice that they won. I used to be from there. But don't try to be both. Like, that shit is annoying to me. And it just feels like try hard, I don't know, attention-seeking personality. Like, you don't get to have both.
I have to agree.
This is one area, and in the US, we're doing it a lot where we shouldn't be. This is one area where we need to pick teams.
Yeah.
We're doing it in every other area where we shouldn't be, but this is team sports. This is actually team sports.
This is actually team sports.
You know how they keep saying like politics isn't team sports? This is team sports.
It is quite literally team sports.
It's sports and it's teams. Pick one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there are very strict rules in Boston. They give you a handbook when you get there. Like when you're like you're born and they're like, here, this is how you do it. Like, you're born here. This is this is it. Celtics, Patriots, Bruins. That's it. Red Sox.
You're not going to show up one day being like, or the Rangers. If,
there's no or. There's no or. And you know what? The worst thing about New York, too, is that every sport has like 6 teams.
I know.
So I'm like, are you fucking
the way
kidding
I'm
me?
weaving around to, I'm like, I'm in hockey. And
they have 3 teams in hockey. Like, Jersey's right across the river in Newark. It's like, oh my God.
It's
like,
wild.
They've
got a Long Island team. I mean, it's nuts.
It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. That said, like, people born and raised in New York, congratulations. First time they won in like 50 years or something.
Pet the camera.
Congratulations.
No, it's cool.
Honestly, I'm happy for you. Like, and I shouldn't even say that as a Boston fan. But because of all these like transplant half fans, like I'm almost like, I'm more like you. I'm more like you than I am like them. So like, honestly, like, they annoy me. But
and we've really been there because we needed it, we've had like a long dry spell with baseball and then won. And I know the Knicks have had like, it's been a trajectory.
It's no 86 years, but it was a long time.
It's not quite as long. It's not a curse of any Bambino, whatever, but let's just say it's a curse of sucking for a really long time. But congratulations. Congratulations. You suck no more.
Go on with it.
But yeah, so that was, that's what was on my nerves. It's not just being fair weathered, because like if you just dip in and out of sports, I'm fine with that. Like
honestly,
I'm talking like I'm a lifelong basketball fan. I could give a shit. I like getting like caught up with things, and I do like the vibe of like if you're from a place, like having some loyalty to it or whatever. But I'm not really keeping up with this stuff. I only do it as long as Charlie's like willing to buy me buffalo wings wherever we go. Like, not a horse in the race, but I don't try to pretend I am when it comes around. It's a very similar thing. Like, I really like watching tennis. There are people who don't give a fuck, and all of a sudden when it's Wimbledon, they try to act like they're a lifelong tennis fan. I don't like that.
I know.
It's attention-seeking behavior. Moving on.
We could do a whole episode on sports fandom. No, I'm just kidding.
Now we get to talk about what our very nebulous episode is actually about. I mean, our episode was about everything we just talked about because it's a segment.
Yeah.
I'm learning these things as I go along. No, I wanted to. So I've had this rash of things coming across my proverbial desk, which is actually my TikTok and my Instagram reels and my Facebook books and my group chats. So I'm going to call that my desk. And it's just a lot of random videos from CEOs and, let's call them business people, saying things like, people want to take lunch breaks these days. And like, if you think about how much that lunch costs over this amount of years, I mean, stay with me, people, stay with me. And then, some guy asked for 2 weeks off from my company. And, I was like, he asked me, can I do it? And I'm like, maybe you can, maybe you can. We'll see. And like his whole thing. So this was this guy, Jim Sexton.
Get into this one. This is the one that kind of like spurred the conversation. I think.
Yes, it was kind of both, and then more things.
Right. Lay it down.
Yes, no. It was a lot of things in the space of like 2 months, which I feel are going to be under an umbrella that is making me feel this way. But Jim Sexton, for example, and example only.
Sorry.
I just like going hard with like, you were wrong.
That's fine. It's your show.
Like, why?
I'm just happy to be here.
I know. That's why it's funny. I'm just like, why? Why do I need to like discount your point so much?
Wrong. Incorrect.
Anyway, this guy, Jim Sexton, we're both goats and I can't hurt us right now. I don't know. He's known for a bunch of random stuff, but he's been on Shark Tank a bunch. And like, he's just one of those guys, like, yeah, whatever. He's had some companies. But he had this like interview and he was talking about how someone had asked for a time off for their honeymoon, for 2 weeks for their honeymoon. And his whole thesis on this was essentially that we can take the 2 weeks off, sure. If we can go 2 weeks without you, do we need you? Right. So that's annoying. And I'll talk more about that and what I think about it. And then we had a guy named Kevin O'Leary, who's what I was mentioning earlier, where he was talking about add up how much your Chipotle costs over time and think about what you could have saved and all of that.
Oh my God.
And then, I've converged that in my mind with just so much of this idea that we shouldn't enjoy anything, right, and that everything is about whether something is fiscally responsible or not. And it's coming from people who generally just are gambling. Like, right, all these companies, like when people are talking about like hedge funds, or, trading companies, or just big, huge companies that can't fail, we find out every single time when they have to be bailed out or when they like are just collapsed for whatever reason out of the blue, that all they're doing is essentially Ponzi schemes. Yeah, like they're jumped up pyramid scheme, Ponzi schemes, souffles that just collapse. So finding out from them that they want us to be so responsible when all you're doing is basically betting on your own stocks and betting against your own value. And then also like this thing where they just like inflate the value of it and hope it catches up with itself. It's just nuts. I mean, what you're doing makes absolutely no sense. You don't need to tell us where we get our panini. Anyway, my thought on the Jim Sexton thing too was something around in the realm of, not Jim Sexton, the Kevin O'Leary, you shouldn't get lunch, is like, those are hours of our life. Right. So it's about sitting on a bench, hearing some birds, taking a break from this like 9 to 5. A bunch of people have to work and they have to be there like, half their day, if not all day, 6 days a week, and have some time to themselves and enjoy something. Yeah. But you're asking them to save that money so you can screw them out of their retirement 5 years later when you collapse and you get bailed out. Right. Exactly. Is that about right, Kevin O'Leary?
100%.
And it made me think, why are they messaging us this way?
Right.
Because this is peaked. This is how we think. Right. We think in like, in 3D, in 5D, or we try to. And it reminds me of the episode where we were talking about, why is this messaging die young, die young, die young? I don't take this stuff lightly. If I hear an influx of the same kind of messaging, and I keep hearing these CEOs being like, why do you need a lunch? Why do you need a vacation? Why do you need to be with your family? Why do you need to have a family? And it just feels like it's escalating. They're like, why do you need furniture? Sit on a fucking brick floor and like wait until work starts the next day. It feels like a concerted effort to get people to not want anything in their lives except to work for them.
Right. Absolutely. It's terrifying.
Okay, so explain everything about it.
I mean, the thing that stands out to me that is like leaves me so aghast is like, these people can't even like stop themselves from like you're asking us to have self-control, and you can't even stop yourself from like, you have like whatever, $100 billion, and you can't even help yourself from feeling shitty because some fucking idiot at the yacht club has $101 billion. So now you have to go fuck over more people to get your next billion so that you can be like, haha, I have as much as you or more. Like,
that's
and
how insecure you are.
You're telling people to not go get a $20 sandwich, he said, right? To it's like to think about how much money you're saving over a year.
Well, he kind of put the sandwich against what they're making.
Right.
And it's like almost like you could pay them equitably.
Right. It's like, or
you could pay them.
And meanwhile,
equitably.
it's like you're the one literally like probably driving up the price of sandwiches.
They're literally
then,
at a freaking casino
yeah.
in a reservation, but they're just doing it in a fancy way. You are just fancy gamblers. That's all you are.
Yeah, exactly. And you're gambling with house money too. You're gambling with our money. You're gambling with everyone else's savings, everyone else's retirement.
But you want people to gamble their wedding time with their families. I think we need to push back against this narrative. We're not trading experiences, family, our life to save $20 on a sandwich, or so some CEO feels better about the need for us in their company. Sir, you are a lawyer. We work at a divorce attorney firm, Mr. Jim Sexton. So if your entire practice can't run with this one guy for 2 weeks, that's a problem with the structure of your company and not a problem with that employee and his need to be in the company. What kind of company cannot operate without one employee for 2 weeks? Are you out of your mind? And if you work at a place that cannot allow you 2 weeks ever in the entire time you work there off, I mean, we'd all just rather live our lives, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's baffling. Like, the inhumanity of that, like, you want to have someone, even like you want that person around you, the person who wants to give up their 2 weeks of the most important moment of their life. Like, you want that guy, the guy who's down to just say, oh yeah, you're right, I should probably just go to work. Like, instead of spending 2 weeks with his new wife, like,
well, first of all, that guy's not allowed in his office, so he doesn't want to be around him.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, like,
it does your head in.
We don't want to live in a world where it's all people like that. You know, we don't want to live in a world like that. I don't think he wants to live in a world like that either, if he were to really think about it. But again, well, yeah, I mean, people like that.
So
they don't
have
care, I guess.
Theory.
Okay, talk to me.
And you know I do. And this is part of why I wanted to. My theory is, so when you said he doesn't want to live in a world like that, in some really deep place, that's true.
Well, that's what I mean.
But in his functioning reality, this person has no connection with joy themselves. And so they seek to have everything externalized, just feeding back their own narrative, right? Yeah. This person felt so inadequate at whatever time that he built this crazy ass company and works insane hours. I mean, this guy's like, you know, he looks like he's about 70. So if he's not about 70, he lived a life that made him look that way. And if he is about 70, well, he should be retired, and he's not. I mean, with the millions of dollars. So why are you still coming into the office? Because he doesn't know how to live, right? So here you have this person who's like, I'm going to go on a honeymoon. I'm going to have joy. And he's like, or you could work. And it's really, you see this a lot. It's not just we all have interacted, you know, and it happens a lot generationally, right? We've interacted with people who are the generation above us who maybe have some regrets in their life, who are unhealed in certain ways.
Right.
And they kind of want you to pay your dues in misery. They don't think things should be easy, right?
Right.
And I'm really not of that mind. I'm not of gatekeeping joy. If the generation below me, Gen Z, find an easier way and they don't have to be as, like, you know, toxically beholden as I did in their jobs, great.
Right.
You know, I do understand people are saying, oh, they can be entitled, they can be overly boundaried, but I'm like, listen, if we can get the job done and they don't have to be quite as miserable, they don't have to go to work with like a flu that could kill everybody, so be it. I want it to be better for them. And I just think there are a lot of people who justify their own lives and their own regrets by dragging everybody else into the same experience they had.
So true. So true.
Okay, let's end the podcast.
Okay, that's it.
Kidding.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely onto something there. I think it can be difficult to learn how to just enjoy yourself, I guess, just how to like be, I mean, listen, like, yeah, it's the, you know, it's the ultimate question. How do you attain happiness? You know, we act like it's trivial and like it's easy and like, but at the same time, it is difficult. And I see how people lose their way and get sucked into the work vortex as a bit of a workaholic myself. I mean, I'm definitely like I've come to love practicing musical instruments, and I love the work that I do teaching, and I love performing, but I also like chose like one of the most joyful possible or like joy giving industries possible.
It's so easy to be bitter in that industry though.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm like, that's the perspective of people who like don't actually live it. Like it can be very difficult to maintain your like positive connection to that. I think, like anything you do, you can sort of lose your way, for musicians, it's the feeling of the odds being stacked against you all the time. And you can kind of lose your connection to the thing that was sacred that you started doing it for. I mean, in the case of these CEOs, it's like, I think they probably felt like they weren't getting anywhere in life. They weren't doing anything meaningful. And then, they probably started pushing themselves in an inordinate way.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like most of these people are very, very materialistically driven, obviously. And I think you're right that usually doesn't lead to much joy.
I mean, it ties us back into like what we were saying about West. I think there are a lot of people who have not done the work socially, and they've maintained an antisocial. I'm like a broken record with an antisocial perspective, but I think essentially that's what a lot of people have. If you're someone who doesn't think cooperatively and you want to kind of derive from society but not contribute to it in a holistic way, that's an antisocial perspective.
And they mistakenly are looking at people who don't want to blindly like work as an automaton to make them more profit. They look
to amass them more
to amass just them more wealth. They mistakenly look at that and be like, "Oh, you're lazy."
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not willing to sacrifice anything, like I was. It's like, no, you're a sociopath and a narcissist, and you just want me to work tirelessly for you and to experience no joy, to buffer your profit margins and to never experience any joy myself. Like, no.
Right. And when you were in your grind mode, it's not like you had some like beautiful loyalty to the CEO. No, you're waiting for your moment to stab them in the back and like take the crown. So like, let's not act as though it's a sign of virtue to like bust your ass for someone who like wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to work the jobs we need to work to pay our rent. A lot of us. Some of us decide to dip out of society. That's a hard thing to do. I'm not one of those people. A lot of us have to pay our rent and like whatever it is, our rent. The rent's too high. But, we understand the way that we have to interact with like our social structure and the economy and capitalism. And so we're going to work these jobs. What we're not going to do, what we're not going to do is basically fully relinquish the idea of joy and just doing things for enjoyment, for this idea that everything we do has to sit in responsibility to a job or a boss or a career or accomplishment in some way. I don't think any of us are going to be on our deathbed thinking like, man, I shouldn't have taken that vacation. I should have really shown him I was dedicated to selling paper or whatever it is,
Exactly. Like, we're all here to make the most of this existence.
Mm-hmm.
Work is important. I understand. I can imagine if you've started some huge company that, has at the very minimum given lots of people a paying job.
Yeah.
I can understand that you see that as an important contribution to society. But at the end of the day, like, it's not necessarily that great of a thing if you're torturing the people. It's actually a really terrible thing. If you're like, even if you're paying them well, it doesn't matter if you're paying them so well, but then they can't enjoy any of that money at all. Like, that's, you're just perpetuating a horrible existence and
horrible existence that they're living.
Right.
Because they continually try to amass more wealth thinking it'll fill something in them. Yeah. But what they really need to do is learn how to sit on a bench and eat an overpriced sandwich.
Exactly.
And just enjoy it for what the fuck it is.
And they can't, it's like, yeah, I mean, imagine if you are a billionaire, there's like no meal on earth that you can buy that feels too expensive. So there's a certain joy that comes with buying something that feels a little frivolous when you don't have like, I know I don't really have the money for this sandwich, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to reclaim this moment in my life and I'm going to enjoy this overpriced sandwich because there isn't a lot else going on for me, maybe. Or maybe it's just or maybe there is other things, but you just want the fucking sandwich.
Yeah. Sometimes I've like literally paid a lot for a product that's not that great to sit in a nice surroundings.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's just a decision you make, you make a decision that like the up under of, having this moment and having it feel expansive and replenishing and, giving you a high vibration is worth the money. It doesn't always have to be about like whether this is like a fiscally responsible product. And by the way, again, it's a lot of y'all that can make a lot of this stuff more equitable by not being so greedy.
Exactly.
It's all the people who are giving themselves insane amounts of bonuses and just being completely unfair and, just having a like not at all sustainable business model. These are all the people telling you not to cut corners and not do that. That's all you do all day.
They do.
When you said, oh, well, they created something and they create jobs, half of these places, we're watching like the Enron documentary.
Oh my God.
They don't do anything.
They literally.
When they were actually asked in a deposition to explain how they make their money, it was a lot of double talk because they don't do anything. They overinflate their stock.
Yep.
And they basically amass money by doing that, by getting people to buy it and, selling their own low key. Right. It's a bunch of gambling.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't tell me what to do with my money when you lose millions of dollars a year.
Exactly.
I mean, I've never lost that much.
Never.
In certain ways, I'm richer than you.
In certain ways.
If we like got down to liquid. Anyway, I'm getting in the weeds, but like.
No, but I hear you. And
yeah. It tied into other things that I notice, which I'm sure we all do, which, we saw this like beautiful stingray drive by us. And you just look at something like that. Like it's a model of car for those of you who don't partake. A Chevy
Corvette
Stingray. It's a Corvette Stingray. It's a beautiful 60s. Little car. And you see a car like that, a classic car. A lot of these 50s, 60s cars drive by and you see them next to all of our sedans. And you're like, what happened?
Oh my God.
What happened to aesthetics?
Exactly.
And the fact that everyone made everything differently. But now it's like you see a Honda, you see a Toyota, you see it whatever. It's generally the same thing. And at least now we're starting to inject color back. But for a while, it was black, gold, white, silver. And like they used to just have all these crazy colors, all this design. I mean, the Stingray's got basically gills on it and it has like these cool headlights and curves and like the interiors are so cool. Now like interiors are freaking depressing of cars. Like, and I understand it's like we're always thinking about how we can have cheaper and cheaper and cheaper fabrics. But I'm like, I don't know, man, what happened to style? And you look at what is happening with fashion too. You have like, 20-year-old, 16-year-old girls being like, I want to look like old money. And they're wearing beige. And you're like, what the hell? What is going Palm Beach is going on with this 15-year-old? And it's like everyone keeps talking. I want to look like the clean girl and this. It's almost like they want to disappear into complete conformity.
Right.
Right. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's sad to see decor, all that Kim Kardashian's house where it's just like a boucle white couch and like one sprig of olive leaf.
Having taught a lot of very wealthy people in Manhattan and in the Hamptons, oh my God, it's rough out there.
Why are we trying to be surrounded by nothing and disappear into the background?
It's very confusing. It's very scary. I mean, I don't know.
We need to.
I don't have a good answer there.
I love to jump on a soapbox and tell people what to do, but I don't like to just think about things just happening because it's not an empowered perspective. No. I think it's time to push against it like it is a narrative that's being sold to us because I don't think these things are accidental. Yeah. These are multi-million-dollar businesses that are starting to sell furniture, deciding on aesthetics, getting you used to certain things. If you're hearing more minimalism in music and style and whatever, it's probably coming from messaging. Right. It's not like a bunch of kids woke up one day and it's like, I want to look like a 50-year-old woman who lives in Palm Beach or Connecticut. There's messaging for that. It's like some kind of return to the traditionalism, get rid of individuality. I mean, who knows? It's probably like, turning into like, whatever, fucking old Christian pioneer ideals. Like, who knows what it is? Like, but you need to question if there's a pervasion of it. Yeah. Is that a word?
Pervasion. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I feel like there is that. There is
100%.
A pervasive feeling where nothing has color anymore. Nothing has design anymore. It's like some entity is trying to get us used to little.
Yeah.
It's like they want you to get used to what looks like a Scandinavian jail cell.
Yeah.
And to live like you're in a Scandinavian jail. Where like you leave your room to do some laundry, you go back and don't think too much about lunch and don't think about looking at trees and anything like that. Yeah. Really just learn to eat bland. It's also that all these freaking diets people trying to get people to eat, where it's like, eat raw oats, stick a banana in it, and put brown honey on it, and that's what you eat all day. It's like they're taking the taste and the color and the design and the joy out of everything. Yeah. Like I saw that Corvette go by and it sparked this like joy. Yeah. It's like aesthetically fun to look at.
Right.
It's different. It's cool. Like, and what does a gold Toyota sedan look like to you? Does it spark joy, Charles?
It doesn't. I think I think most of this stuff is usually it stems from greed, and it stems from profit margins, and it stems from it's kind of weird, right? It's like material, this desire, this like insatiable need for material success, I guess, then breeds like, if like that to too much of a degree, then what comes out the other side ends up being just like
the bare minimum
and grayness. And then I guess in their minds, they can then afford all the nice things. But it's like, what if you didn't stop to think about if you just made everything nice?
Half the time they don't want the nice things. Like you go into these rich people's houses.
But I think they've lost their ability to get joy from that. They've lost their ability to recognize quality because they've started to look at the world through this greedy utilitarian lens, And so they start looking, you have to imagine, I guess in some way, they're looking at everything like, will that make me money? Will that make me money? Will that make me money? And everything that they're producing, will that be profitable? Will that be profitable? They lose their, it's just like a muscle. You lose your ability to like, to see beauty, I guess. You lose your ability. That muscle is atrophied, I mean, it's really bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, even with people who aren't uber rich, I probably have mentioned this before, but working in restaurants, like towards the end of working in them, I mean, not even that close to the end. I mean, I would say for the last like 8 to 10 years of working in them, I've kept my hours as minimal as possible. Like a restaurant was not a job that was going to have any upward mobility for me, right? So I wanted to balance it where it was worth it, money-wise, I could pay my rent, but I'm not trying to move up in this area or anything like that. So there's no point in really dedicating a lot of hours of my life. Restaurants are a place where you can work less hours and make good money if you stretch it right. Or you can make almost nothing and work a lot of hours. I mean, if you choose the wrong place, you'll end up working 12-hour shifts and doubles and making less than someone who works the right shifts and hustles and learns to be a good employee. And if you can be the good guy that they'll give the Saturday double, you could probably work 1 to 2 days a week, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you could be the one who sucks and is lazy and is like, whatever, I'll work the slow Tuesday shift, and you're making like $50 a shift or whatever, at best. So I worked very few hours towards the end. I would probably work like, 26 hours a week or something for the most part. And people would just constantly ask me, and it ran the gamut of ages, what do you do with all that time? And I was always like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? That question, and I'm sure I've railed about this on this podcast before. It's impossible for me not to. But it's a similar sauce. It's like
100%.
It's people who don't actually know how to interact with their life.
Right.
Because you wouldn't ask that question if you did.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be at work. You understand this? So it's not, my life is not something I'm doing in the negative space of work.
Yeah.
But I think that can happen to people psychologically, where they're like, so I'm at work and everything else is negative space or time until I go to work.
Right.
Living is what I do otherwise.
Yeah.
I live my life.
Yes.
I interact with the physical world. I, have fun with my family. I talk to my friends. I touch grass. I take hikes. Like, I live life. I eat good food. You remember what life is? Because it's not work. So when you're asking someone what they do, it's like, you need me to have hobbies? It's live.
Well, okay. So now
I do have hobbies.
You got my wheels turning now. It's like, I think, I think it stems from our anxiety about the future primarily is maybe what I'm thinking. I think we are so conscious. We've become hyper conscious of our future and of our mortality and of our, the goings on of the kids that we have, or, like whatever, like of the next generation. And so we become so like it's too much power or too much knowledge for an animal. It causes too much anxiety. We've become a very anxious animal, and I think greed stems from that anxiety of it's hoarding. It's wealth hoarding. So it's you're trying to amass, you're trying to plan for the future, and you lose your ability to see what's directly in front of you. You lose your ability to like connect with the wellspring of life. And that's why you become, you become consumed with the need to get more all the time for later. You need to get more for later, get more for later.
Scarcity
mindset. And so then that becomes your central meaning. And I think a lot of the things you're talking about, to me, I think about this all the time as a, a musician. It's like, I think we've become really, really terrible at making meaning, at defining meaning. Like, I feel like meaning has to be fostered. It has to be actively injected with life force, and you have to interact with that and that thought process. I was talking to a student the other day and about how, like, the way we think, it's like, I try to think about things and ideas as not like how materialistically true or false are they, but how utilitarian are they? And so, like, you think about something like people thinking about like gods, like the what's it called? Polytheism, like there being these entities in life, like the wind is a living entity that will whisper something in your ear, or fire is this raging passion, but it's also, it has a personality, and it has a God connected with it. And while that seems kind of silly to a lot of people in the modern world, like, just imagine a world in which that's commonplace. It's a more living world. It's more alive. It has more meaning. It has more personality, connecting to earlier, right?
Yeah.
The whole world itself has more personality.
Yeah.
And so, like, you ask yourself why, you look at like drain pipes from the 1800s, and they're like a being that is, spitting ornate and is spitting water, and you're like,
is like
through the fucking IKEA lens, you're like, well, that's going to cost a lot to 3D print all of those, and fucking, which, and it's like, so, but to them, it's like what you're doing by just like making everything be something like that, giving life to something, you're giving life
meaning,
purpose, you're giving life meaning, you're giving life life.
No, I hear what you're saying. And I agree with what you say about the utility of things. And when we talk about greed and lack of empathy and, all that stuff, I always try to talk about it to people through the lens of like, you can think of it selfishly.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it helps you, you don't have to think about it empathetically, think about it practically. And I think personifying things, we're people.
Yeah.
And so it makes you connect with them more.
Yeah.
So if you, put a little, whatever, a face on something, you're more likely to notice it every day and, take stock of it and take care of it. And you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, exactly.
If everything is a 3D printed shitty piece of plastic, we all kind of forget about it, whatever, just like let it go to decay. And it feels different, when you imbue something with importance enough to give it, ornament.
Yeah.
You're more likely to give it meaning, I guess.
Right.
Like you said.
And you talk about this car. It's like, oh, no one knows how to fix cars anymore. It's like, well, nobody, like, they look like shit. Who wants to interact with that?
We all want a cheap, ugly car that runs forever.
So, so who wants to interact with that? But then you have this Corvette Stingray. I mean, that's a beautiful, that's a creature. It's a living being. I don't want to wash my fucking Corolla. Like, it's annoying to me to have to do that.
Yeah.
But if I have a Stingray,
how much better does it look when it's clean?
So if I have this beautiful thing that is like that, that asks to be taken care of just by its very design,
Yes.
And that's like, we're not doing that with the world.
Yeah.
We're not creating it, whatever, like like Bible says we're created in God's image, and now we think we're all gods or something. Like, let's create things in our image then, if we think so highly of ourselves. Let's make things more personable, give them more personality.
Yeah.
and maybe that will help us see, like, but this is and I guess, yeah, like what you're saying about CEOs not being able to, like, they have no joy. And so they're seeing that. Well, they have no humanity also, so they see no humanity in the person that wants 2 weeks off for their
honeymoon.
honeymoon.
I did want to, before my squirrel brain loses it, go back to when you were saying that CEOs, or not CEOs, sorry, people in general have lost their connection. Where I was talking about people who didn't know what I did in my time off, and I was like, what do you mean I live my life?
Right.
You're saying essentially that, like, that they have lost this connection, and so they want to wealth hoard, and they want to do this, and they want to do that. I will push back on it a little bit, because I think it's fed more by people who are spiritually more bankrupt or depleted than your average person.
Oh, I agree.
I think that is, if trickle down doesn't work with anything but that.
Yeah, seriously.
I think that kind of nihilism does trickle down, and I think it's really important to identify that you're not the source of it. You're fed a lot of scarcity mindset. You're fed a lot of, I need to hoard wealth. I mean, this CEO too, it's always the people trying to rip off and screw over your retirement who are telling you to save for it. Yep. So I'm a practical woman. Absolutely. Okay. People think that I'm not saving about whatever because I'm not practical. I'm a practical person. I'm actually a little financially scared as a human.
Yeah.
It's pattern recognition.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people plan with it to a T for when they're 50, and they have nothing to show for it because people scam them out of it. Sure. And we've seen the stock market, we've seen our economy go bust a million times because of these greedy fucks who keep telling us to save and put into their pot, and we'll get it paid at the end. And I don't believe that.
Absolutely.
Nor do I hedge my entire life on these years that who knows if I see them.
Exactly.
Not everybody gets to be 80 years old. Imagine that you save your entire youth when you're most, vibrant, when you have the most physical strength, when you can travel the most, for when you're 80.
Yeah.
It's just that actually doesn't make sense to me. So if you want me to come at something in a practical way, you will never feel better or more healthy, and you will never have more vitality than today. And so saying, I'm not going to do anything until I'm retired. Who knows if you can get on a plane, my dude? Like, who knows? Who knows if you even have the money? Like, who knows if our economy even exists? Who knows if the grid goes down? And I'm not saying start doing heroin, live like there's no tomorrow. There's reason. I pay my rent, and I try to take care of things and make sure we keep the lights on. But this idea that we're waiting for life until there's a more convenient time to live it. No, honey, we're not doing that here. And I think the messaging is being fed to us to do that. And it's because people want us to work until we are too old to work, and then leave us in the lurch.
Absolutely. I have no pushback on that. That is absolutely true. No, I think you're right. And I think these people are super, super evil. And I think that's like, you're exactly right. They're asking you to put into the pot, more and more. Like, work for, they want you to do your labor, but they also, you're right, they want you to put in to the 401k. They want you to invest in the stock market that they are manipulating and controlling. They want you to pay your taxes that they are conning the government out of, by getting government contracts to do what. Enron was getting government contracts to do what, we don't even know, because we don't understand. They weren't doing anything. So
there
it's
is
just
some allusion to pedophilia.
I know.
I mean, that would be on brand in our country. It all seems to come down to that. I mean, we're all just trying to make enough money to be pedophiles.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Like, I don't mean to victim blame the everyday man in any way.
I didn't hear it that way.
No, I know, and I'm not. I don't think you did, but I'm just saying, like, it is a really important point to point the finger and look where these messages are coming from. They are coming from the most powerful people. They are coming from people who have a responsibility to do way better, Yeah. But this is why we have to be careful, because I think also in our society, then we glorify those people and we put them on some kind of pedestal because they're successful. But I guess what we can do is we can reflect on how we view these people and how we view success and how we view, the world. And we have to push back against that narrative, and we have to
we need to hold steady on what is important to us.
Yeah, exactly. Hold your morals.
The same. Just always remember, the same people who are going to make you play with your trash all day long, saying that we're ruining the environment, are the ones who spill gallons and gallons of oil into the ocean and everything ends up in the landfill. And I'm not saying don't recycle. I'm just saying consider the source always of what impetus is being put on you.
They're always
it's the same people who will pollute everyone's water, whatever, who'll be like, people need to be more responsible about their sprinklers. I'm like, or you could have not completely dried out the entire planet by, fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I don't want to try to mitigate that, but it's important to want to contribute even when it's not your fault to making things better. That's important to me.
Right.
Even if I'm not the one who blew everything up, even if I'm not the one who created these structures and didn't vote on them, I still am not and so I'm not doing anything. No, I want to do something, but I'm not going to take on that I'm the one who blew up the world and made it look like this and it's my fault and I need to take all the responsibility for it. Absolutely not. Exactly. It's really important to stay sane in that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying give them so much importance that you don't ever think you can make the world better, you can contribute, you can, turn the car around, but you need to be pointing at the right person.
Absolutely.
To some extent. You need to keep your head on straight and just be like, this ain't it. And figure out, like you said, what is important to you. Our experiences, is your family. So when you said these are evil people, right?
Yeah.
I tend to not use that word a lot. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using it because it can mean many different things to many people. But I guess I want to, if we are going to use it, I would clarify that to say, or I would qualify that, I guess, for myself, my absorption, to say these are people who have lost their connection and it's left them lost and given them a lot of a deficit of, I guess it's a spiritual deficit.
Yeah.
And I don't mean spiritual it's a failure of spirit. Yeah. I think for those of us who have a little bit more strength and robustness of spirit, we can have some of the early challenges that they maybe had, maybe grow up poor, seeing other people rich, maybe have a difficult family dynamic, maybe, have these challenges, which I think they've metabolized to become really nihilistic. Yeah. And that's a spiritual failure. Yeah. And I think that's a human failure. So I think sometimes the word evil can almost relegate them to something outside of humans when it's a really common human tendency.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, let me clarify and say they are possessed of an evil idea. Yes. They are possessed by an evil idea. And the idea that you work as hard as you possibly can and you disregard anyone else and you disregard experience in life, you disregard beauty, you disregard everything at the, with the idea of
the cicada just tried to commit suicide on our window.
That's cool. Yeah, you disregard all the well-being of everything else around you. I lost my train of thought, but
it was the cicada.
It was the cicada.
It felt like a sign.
But yeah, that was weird. If that's where your head is at, that's all that's important to you is or in the name of you're disregarding all that in the name of profit, in the name of material gain, I guess, then it means you've completely lost your way. You're not, that is an evil idea in my opinion.
I agree.
And I guess, and that's, I agree with you. I think it's important. It's not really a good, you're right. I shouldn't call them evil people. I think we need to the word, I think we need to reorient ourselves into what evil means. And again, I think because we're so kind of arrogant about our ability as humans to kind of shape our personalities. I think we think we're
taking this consciousness and running with it. It takes us outside of the natural world.
We think we have so much more control over ourselves than we do. And so I think the idea, again, not to keep coming back to this, but this idea of evil as possessing you, we don't have to view it as actual demonic entities necessarily, but I think it's important you can think of ideas as possessing you, and that seems pretty obvious. I think if you say bad idea boys all the time.
Yeah.
These are bad idea boys. They've got bad ideas.
Oh, we got them in Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
We make them wholesale.
The idea is, you do whatever you have to get ahead in this world. Well, you first of all, you want to start thinking about what ahead in this world means. I mean, if all that is numbers in a bank account and stupid cars, like
that you don't know what to do with.
You don't know what to do, and you don't know how to enjoy.
This was like a sweet old couple driving around, and I'm like, they know what to do with it. Exactly. I feel like these people, they buy the cars, they buy the house, they sit in there, they don't know what to do.
Buy the guy to take care of it.
They send an employee a mean email because they don't know what else to do with their time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like they're all about this profit, but they don't even know what to do with the profit.
They have no clue. They have no understanding of how to connect that into a real experience into experiential reality.
It's why I enjoy people who enjoy their money so much.
Absolutely.
Everyone's like, I hate rich people. I hate rich people.
No.
When I see someone who has a lot of money and they are enjoying it, and like I see someone who amasses the car and they drive them, like I love that Seinfeld drives all his, car. I love that Jay Leno drives. Oh, no, Jay Leno's weird about money, but
is he?
Yeah, he only spends his stand-up money. He literally never wanted to spend. Jay Leno, people don't know, everyone knows who he is. But anyway, he's a comedian, but he also did talk shows, and he wouldn't spend his long running talk show checks.
Which definitely was most of his money.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was a comedian
I know.
Growing up.
I never think about Jay Leno's stand up. I mean,
get it.
I thought about it more in that area in the late 80s.
Yeah.
I'm born in 82. So not for very long was I thinking of it as a stand up.
So funny.
But yeah, he had a weird thing with that. So he's a bad example. But, I always like when I see these certain rich figures and I'm like, they're really actually just enjoying it.
I think usually if you find someone who's enjoying their money, you'll find someone who probably treated their employees pretty well,
Often. Yeah.
Often. Yeah.
I mean, even if it's not in them, they find the practical reason to do it. And there are certain people that I'm like, are they the most sympathetic? Maybe not. But they've just found this sideways door, almost a superstitious door, because the world does kind of work like that. If you put out a lot of negativity and you screw a lot of people over, it has this way of coming back to you. And I've known and worked with people that I can tell. I don't know that empathy comes to them. I think it comes to them in numbers more than in feelings.
Yeah.
They've just kind of pattern recognized and realized that, when they screw people over, it goes badly for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a specific boss that I'm thinking about where I'm like, I think they tried to take care of you. They always kind of don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But they just sort of learned that it's not great when you don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they have. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. If you're not woo-woo, I mean, woo-woo was with you.
Exactly.
You may not believe in it, but it believes in you.
Right, exactly.
If anything, we can maybe all agree now that we don't understand matter and, energy as much as we thought we did in frequencies and all of that. I mean,
absolutely.
Scientists are getting us on board with that. So maybe you can more get around the idea that things have a frequency and they have an energy, and you're responsible for how much of that you connect with or put out and emit, and it's likely to beget more of it, whatever it might be.
Yeah. I know it. I know. Yeah. I know it. A lot of things in the news feel pretty hopeless, but I'm feeling a new wave of hope for the future. And I do think, too. I think people are, there's enough of this narrative when I'm online, and I know it's my algorithm, so it's tailored just for me. But
no, I'm with you, though.
I mean, the fact that even that it's someone's out there making stuff that connects to what we're saying right now and to what I believe, then it makes me extremely hopeful. I think. Yeah. I think. Yeah.
The way I just said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
No, I don't know. It's nobody's happy with the way. This is a dark day, and nobody's happy about it.
Who have been in charge of this structure. I think it's because it's been lost people, and they created it hoping it would make them happy.
Exactly.
And it didn't. And now a lot of people are very stubborn, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with regret. I think regret is, I try not to have a lot of regrets because, the way your life has formed for better or worse is a sum of the parts of your choices, right? Yeah. So you can't have the good without the bad, if that makes sense. It's
absolutely.
I would wish you away if I fix some of my mistakes because I probably should have never moved to New York. right?
Exactly.
But then I have no Charlie, I have no Sly. I mean, this entire life
Exactly.
doesn't exist. So I tried not to think that way. But there are things that you would do differently, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to be able to hold that and course correct and accept it, and maybe put something in the world that makes other people move in a way that you weren't able to back then, right? So like, I think rather than be these gatekeepers and people who are like, you need to pay your dues and eat shit, maybe when you learn an easier way, a better way, a more holistic way to be, like, pass it down.
Yeah.
And I think these people instead, they just can't reconcile their life. They're like, if this isn't what you're supposed to do, my brain can't take it. And I think, again, spiritual weakness.
Spiritual weakness.
I think these are spiritually weak people. And when people do awful things to people and they are horrible, we can call them evil, that's fine. I think a lot of people attribute strength to that.
Right.
But it's not. It's spiritual weakness.
Always weakness. Always.
Yeah. Only being able to do the most facile thing, which is just like screw people over, lie, cheat. Like, come on, dude. That's the thing that you do. Like, a lot of us go to when we realize we can do it when we're very small kids.
Yeah.
And then we have to kind of teach ourselves, like, that's not the way to be. You don't do that. If everyone did that, what would the world look like?
Right.
And, we found out.
We found out.
We found out. But like you, it hasn't made me feel hopeless.
Yeah.
Of course, I have my moments, but I think as a person who really highly values authenticity, I think it's really important to look under the bed.
Yeah.
And I think we've been operating in a society globally that has a lot festering under the bed. And the fact that we've shone a light under there now, it's ugly, but I'm glad the light's under there.
Thank God.
Yeah. And we're having to deal with it. It's all out, and it's ugly as fuck, and it's disgusting, and it's draining, and it's a lot at once, but it's never going to get cleaned up if we just keep, keeping above the,
keep shoving it under the rug.
Exactly.
We have to look at it square in the face.
Yes.
And then we'll figure it out. People will figure it out.
Oh, we don't have to, honey.
We don't figure it out.
The only way through it is through it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
One podcast episode at a time.
One podcast episode at a time.
One peakty weekty.
One music to change the beauty, make the world
Everything
perfect.
matters by symmetry at a time.
To make pretty world sounds. Sorry.
Period.
Yeah.
But really, period.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
All
My
right,
throat's
let's
getting
go.
dry. Let's get out of here. We have to go save the world.
We're here to save the world. Okay. All right. It's over. Goodbye. Cue
Bye.
the music.